Go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the More Than a Fan podcast. This is the 74th podcast we've done here at More Than a Fan. And tonight, you get to see all of our beautiful faces. First of all, we have me. I am Hayden Grove at H Grove. I'm the least important of these three. We also have Damian Bowman at Damian Bowman on Twitter. Say hello, Damian.
Hello, hello. How's everyone?
And we have one of the most famous Twitter people out there, Mr. Aaron McGee at AaronM59 on Twitter. Say hello, Aaron.
Hello, Aaron.
You're hilarious. Anyway, we just wanted to kind of get going tonight on some Indians talk and some Browns talk, so we hope you will we're broadcasting live right now from wherever we are. We're not going to tell you because we don't want you coming in our lives, but we're broadcasting live so you can tune in and see our faces. Damian's eating. Well, I don't know what he's eating down there.
I'm starving. I'm eating dinner.
Oh, he's eating dinner. Okay. Well, we're not trying to interrupt Damian's dinner, but we are going to talk some Tribe. And I don't know about you, but this week was pretty tough. 6 losses, 1 win. The win coming today against the Angels. It was a pretty big win, but the week started Monday with the Indians. Chris Perez blowing it.
Where'd Hayden go? We lost him?
Apparently.
All right, Aaron, we'll just keep going. So what did you think about the Indians today?
Well, I didn't watch today. It got a little tough there over the week, but my outlook didn't change on them very much at all, honestly.
No?
I didn't think they were better than Detroit. I've never thought that. I thought, winning a game against them would have been nice. But, the Angels thing, they should have won 2 or 3 or whatever. But like I said, and I've said it 100 times, I expected the Indians to be between 81 and 85 wins. And, they're still on pace to do that. I don't expect them to be a playoff team. I really never have. So this, as bad as this week's been, it didn't really change anything for me anyways.
So do you think that based on this week, do you think that they need to go out and do something this offseason? What should they do?
I mean, do I? Yeah, of course they do. I mean, the thing that's failed them is a bullpen. I mean, it changes every year, but they've been extremely unreliable. And then, the offense has been consistently inconsistent. And, the starting pitching, which I think was everybody's biggest concern coming into the year, has really, been about as good as you could expect it to be for the guys they've, thrown in there. So,
Hayden, I'll ask you first, and then I'll throw it back to Aaron. What do you think their biggest need is in the offseason?
Am I back, by the way?
You're on.
Oh, I'm on. Okay,
your pretty
good.
face is there.
Okay. What do I think they need? I think they absolutely need a cleanup hitter. I think that they need some more bullpen help. And they're losing Ubaldo. They're going to need somebody to fill in, whether it come from in the system or out of the system. They're going to need some sort of starting pitching. They got a lot of options. They have a lot of depth. Carrasco, Bauer, Salazar. But, this team is almost there. It really is. And I think, Aaron, I was listening. I know I was out, but I could still hear and see you guys. And Aaron was saying that he didn't expect them to be a playoff team, and I didn't either.
I think we lost him again. That's all right. Aaron, what do you think their biggest need is in the offseason?
As much as of what I just said, I still think it's starting pitching. I mean, Masterson, I think it would be a tremendous number 2 guy. I'm not well versed enough in the free agents to really, know what starting pitchers are even out there, but they really need a top end ace. I don't think they're going to get it because they're not going to spend the type of money that takes. But that's what they need. They need a top-end guy. They need a slump buster. Masterson, he won today, but it really wasn't due to him. And then, in the Detroit, he got blown out against Detroit. So, they need a top-end starting pitcher.
So, what do you think they need to spend? Like, who's going to be available? Like, what kind of money do they need to spend to get somebody that's worth it next year?
Well, like I said, I don't know who's necessarily available, but they're going to have to do what they did this offseason and actually spend some money, and maybe get a guy who's going to produce, unlike, Brohio out there. But they need a top-end starting pitcher, at least another guy of Masterson's caliber. If they can get that for, the $12 to $15 million range or whatever, that'd be great. That's why they get paid the big bucks, man, and I just sit here and watch.
Right. And do you think that, and I know, and not that I want to touch on attendance, but I'm going to try and tie it in here. Do you think that they've done enough to where fans need to show up and to justify the spending? Does that make any sense? Like, people aren't going, so do you think that the front office is going to say, we're not going to spend any money because we don't know if anybody's going to show up, or should they just go out and do it? Like, have they done enough to convince fans, or what do you think about any of that?
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't think they'll go out and spend the money. No, I mean, I don't know what fans want to see. I mean, they were a 68-win team last year. That's
Right.
the bottom line, and they're gonna win more than 68 games this year. They're improving. They showed last year they would spend the money. I mean, do the Dolans go out and spend again and then, just pray the fans show up? I mean, I don't know, but to keep spending money, there's got to be butts in the seat to be able to justify for themselves to keep doing it.
Right.
It hasn't turned up this year. I mean, the attendance thing is talked about all the time, but
Right.
the Indians are the best value in Cleveland. I mean, in my opinion, ticket-wise. Buy a ticket a day early. I mean, I'm sorry you can't walk up the day of, and people are upset over that. But it's a fun product, man. I'm not like a lot of people where I'm not going to be that mad if they don't make the playoffs. That's not what I expected from them. So, that's just how I look at it.
Hayden,
Am I back?
you're on.
Again? Oh man, we got to get this fixed. But anyway, again, I'm with Aaron. I wasn't expecting them to make the playoffs, but at the same time, I think the Dolans have put all the money they need to put in. I mean, obviously people aren't coming out, and I think the only thing that's going to fix that is wins. So it comes down to, if they want to spend, they're going to have to make the playoffs. But if they don't want to spend, they're not going to make the playoffs, and they're not going to get people in. So I really don't know. I don't know what to tell you, because it's a really slippery slope between.
Hayden's gone again. I don't know what's going on with his computer. He's got that expensive machine, that Macintosh, and it doesn't work. I don't know what's going on with it. Although the face that he has up there right now is great. I think he's back. Try again, Hayden.
Am I back?
You're good.
What is going on, man? I don't know. But just
Pay your internet bill, dude.
I don't know. I did pay it. I don't know what's going on.
So
Anyway.
I guess here's the question. I mean, obviously the Indians are better this year than they were the past 2 years, right? I mean,
Right.
we obviously all agree with that. So if people aren't showing up now, Hayden, you think that they have to get into the playoffs for people to start showing up next year?
Oh, you mean for this? No. If they don't make the playoffs this year, they're not going to show up. It's just how it goes. But I don't think that should have any effect on next year. I mean, next year, if they win 80 games and by August, I think the fans will absolutely show up. So I mean, I think the whole reason that fans aren't coming now is because they're expecting what they've seen. They expected this little 6-game slide, and let's just hope it's no more than that. But they've expected this whole August collapse that has happened the past couple of years, and it's happened. It's come true. I mean, it's coming true. It's not completely true yet, but it's coming true, and that's what's keeping fans away, is that fear that the August collapse is coming.
Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, I just think my problem with that, first of all, I mean, if last year's team, and I don't quite remember 2 years ago, it might have been in August, but last year's team was out of it before August. And, I don't think they were ever, what are they, Indians right now, 10 games over 500 or right about that.
Right.
I mean, those teams weren't that, they weren't that good in August. And this team's done that all year. They've won a lot of games in a row. They've lost a lot of games in a row. They're just, I don't know how to explain that. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing that they're so inconsistent, or consistently inconsistent, whichever. But they've done it all year, and they've got a weak schedule here to end the season. You know, the season's not over. I mean, a 6-game slide in August or not, you win, 10 of your next 12. You're 18 games over, or whatever it puts them at. All of a sudden, everybody's going to be jumping right back on the bandwagon. They're right there in the wild card at that point, whatever. I mean, it's just going to take another one of these, long winning streaks, what they just come off of, 10 of 11 or 11, whatever the hell it was. It was good. Right. They do that again, I mean, they're right there. If this team ends September hot and somehow makes the playoffs, I mean, I don't think that's going to happen, but to just give up on the season now, and I'm football mode, but hey, I mean, the Indians are still around, man, and I don't think they're just disappearing.
Well, that's a tough thing. Just for a second, Damien, that's a tough thing because that's the problem. That's entirely the problem is the whole football thing because the Browns right now are 0-0. There's unbridled optimism all over the place. Joe Banner, Haslam, whatever. Oh, the Browns are going to be good this year, and that's what's taking precedent. They're middle of the road, but the Browns are 0-0. So you can say, oh my gosh, the Browns are going to go undefeated this year because they haven't proven anything yet. If the Browns and the Indians started at the same time, I think there would be a lot more optimism, or there would be a lot more people buzzing about the Indians because I think the Indians are a better product.
Aaron, you think the Indians are a better product than the Browns, correct?
Yeah, absolutely, they are.
Value. You think it's a better value, or you think that the team?
Better product right now. Look, I've said before about the Browns. I like the direction of all three Cleveland teams right now, honestly. But I mean, what you're going to get on the field this year with the Browns, and but again, Cleveland is a football town, and quite honestly, if the Browns are a 7-win team, it's going to attract a lot more people than the Indians being an 85-win team. I mean, it's the nature of the beast, man. Cleveland loves football. Ohio loves football. I can't say when, as much as the Browns, I probably like them a little less than most people, but, if the Indians are out of it and football season's starting, I'll completely tune out of the Indians too, so I'm kind of a hypocrite saying all that.
Well, Aaron,
go ahead.
Just before, I mean, when you really look at it, the Indians were the most popular when the Browns weren't in town. Right. It just coincided that way. It just happened that the Indians got really good when the Browns left, and then...
Man, such a good thought, too.
Yeah, I'm sure it was something really special. Aaron, let me ask you this real quick. Of the three teams, the three Cleveland teams, which, in your opinion, will win a championship first?
In my opinion?
Well, I guess if you can actually talk without hanging up on us. Sure.
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Which Cleveland team won a championship first?
Sure. I mean, which will, I guess, get us there? Which of the three teams?
You said us.
The Cavs.
Do you think the Cavs will get there before the Indians and the Browns?
Yep.
Why?
I do. Because I think that they have by far the most star power, and star power is what's going to get you by in most leagues. I mean, we're never going to compete with Detroit because Miguel Cabrera is the best player that we've seen in the last 10, 20 years. We're never going to compete with, the Steelers because they have Ben Roethlisberger, and until we have Ben Roethlisberger, we're not, or Joe Flacco or whoever, we're not going to beat them. But if we have Kyrie and we have, if Bynum gets back to where he says he can get, there's no reason that we don't have the star power to win. And I truly believe in star power. I think that, we can compete with Swisher and compete with Bourne, but at the end of the day, you need a bona fide superstar if you want to win titles.
So you don't think that if the Indians go out in the offseason this year and pick up a great pitcher, an ace, a true ace, or even a number two who's really good, that they won't be able to beat Detroit?
Where are they going to find him? Are they going to pay for him?
I mean, they're going to have to pay for him at some point if they want to get somewhere, right?
No, that's the point, and that's what I'm saying. If they do get him, then absolutely, but I don't see it happening. I don't see them spending that money.
Aaron, what do you think?
I don't think any are close right now. Like I said, I think they're all headed in the right direction. So really, it's a crapshoot the way I look at it. But if I had to pick a team, I would say the Cavs as well, just because they have a superstar or a budding superstar, whatever you want to call him, in Kyrie. Um, you know, I'm not even going to say the 2014 thing because, like I said, I still think it's a pipe dream. But I think that possibility as a pipe dream puts them closer to a championship than the Indians or Browns are at right now, if that makes sense.
No, that makes total sense.
Even though I want to say, I want to make sure I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. But I just think that it's Cleveland's only hope for a championship anytime soon. Like you said, I think all the teams are coming up, but some things are going to have to change. A big break's going to have to go the Indians' way with some. Danny Salazar is going to have to win 22 games next year. Something crazy and just be an absolute stud ace. Brandon Whedon's going to have to be a top 5 quarterback. Something crazy like that for one of those two teams to be competing for a championship here.
Right. Hang on, Hayden's messing me all up here.
Sorry, I see myself on the screen.
Yeah,
so
I don't know what exactly he's doing here. He's got me all messed up. So the Indians have the Twins starting tomorrow. Do you have any predictions for that series?
Is it just a 3-game or is it a 4-game?
I believe it's just a 3-game, but
probably Thursday is an off day, I guess.
Yeah, I would guess so. I'm gonna go ahead and see.
I'm gonna go ahead and.
All right, I just ejected Hayden. I don't know what he's doing. He's killing me here. Hayden, are you okay over there?
Yeah, I'm trying to fix it, and it's not working, but that's okay.
Do you have your computer plugged into the internet, or are you using Wi-Fi?
Well, I was trying to use my phone, but go ahead.
Okay. So, predictions for this series, Aaron?
I say sweep, man. They're going to get right back on track. Sweep.
Sweep the Twins, is what you're saying.
Yep. Mop them up. I say, listen, seriously, 2 or 3 or a sweep, yes. I think they've consistently beat the teams they're better than all year. I don't know why that should change it now.
So they have 3 with Minnesota, and then they have 3 in Oakland, and then 3 in Minnesota, 3 in Oakland, 3 at Los Angeles with the Angels.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the 3 different series? So
well,
of the 9, how many will they win?
Oakland's going to be tough. The Angels, record, are still, at least have the talent to win baseball games. I think if they win 6 and 9, it'll be an extremely successful trip. But they have to start it off with playing well against Minnesota because I think you're putting yourself in a really tough situation if you underachieve against the Twins.
Right. Hayden, what do you think?
On the road trip?
Yep.
I'm going to say that they're going to win. They're either going to sweep or win the Twin series. They are probably going to lose 2 out of 3 against the Athletics, and they'll probably win 2 out of 3 against. So I'd say probably 6 and 9. I think that's a good estimate. But Aaron, you were saying that you were saying the same thing, 6 and 9. But if they go 6 and 9 on this road trip and they continue to go 6 and 9 over a 9-game series, they're going to win a lot of baseball games. And you're the one saying that. I'm not disagreeing with you, and I'm not trying to argue with you, personally. But
you can argue with me.
But you said, if they keep going 6 and 9, they're going to make the playoffs. But you're the one that says, oh, well, they're not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, but we're talking about a specific group of games, though. There's no reason they don't win 2 or 3 against Minnesota. And if they sweep them, like my original prediction is, that's. You just have to win 3 of 6. I don't think that's crazy. Look, I haven't looked at the remaining schedule. I know it's, a lot weaker than the schedule has been.
It's fairly easy for the last month.
Yeah, if and it's a huge if, but if they win the games they should win, the Indians are going to be right there. But, I'm not saying it's impossible or anything like that, like I said, with them making the playoffs. I just don't think that it's going to end up happening, and I'm not going to change what I originally said at the start of the year would be a successful season, which was, a much improved baseball team, which they've been. 68 wins. I mean, if they win 85, I just think they're going to have to win, 92 to make the playoffs. I mean, and what are they, 60? I don't even know what their exact record is. 55,
63 and
something
55.
like
63 and 55 they are right now.
Okay, so they're 8. I mean, so just some quick math. That's what, 44 games left.
Right.
So I mean, if they go 500, that's 85 wins right there.
So
I mean,
I get.
But they'd have to win 29 and go, 29 and 15 to be a 92 win baseball team, which, I think 90 to 92 wins is going to get that second wild card spot.
Hey, do you have anything on this before I ask another question?
All I was going to say is that I completely agree with Aaron that if they win any more than 80 games, this is a completely successful season, 150%, regardless of whether they make the playoffs or not.
So, I mean, let's play hypothetical here. Like, say they don't win 80 games. Say they fall flat or whatever, right? Is the season still successful, or is it a complete failure? Hayden.
If they what now?
If they don't win 80 games. I mean, we know they're going to win 80 games. But let's say they're terrible the rest of this month and terrible next month. Is the season a failure, or have they done enough to say we're much better?
I think it's absolutely a failure if they do that. I mean, because then it is playing into what everybody, all the detractors and, other teams' fans and the negative Indians fans or whatever that, were saying that there was going to be a collapse. I mean, if that happens, that's the third straight year there's been a significant collapse. And I mean, if they don't win 80 games at this point, they deserve every criticism they get, and I think that'd be the worst collapse yet. But I don't think it's going to happen. But yeah, It would be horrible if it did.
Hayden.
I agree. I can't even really add on because I agree so wholeheartedly. If they somehow win less than 80 games, if they go way below 500 for the rest of the season, it's by far the biggest collapse because this is by far the most talented team we've had in 2 years, the best coach we've had in 2 years, the most excitement we've had in 2 years. So, in the past 2 years, over the past 3 years, I should say,
right.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it would be the biggest collapse of all of them, and that's why this week scared me so much. It wasn't so much because I cared that much about the playoffs or whatever. I cared that they don't go on a massive collapse like they did last season and ruin everything that they've set out to accomplish.
How many games did you go to last week? Did you just go to Monday's game? Hayden? I think he's gone again.
I went to 0.
You went to 0. When's the next game you're going to?
A little more of a hike for me than it is for Hayden. I don't know, man. My buddy's coming home in September and probably go to a game then. But yeah, I try to get to 10 a year. I've only been to 3, so.
Hayden, are you back?
Yep.
How many games this week did you go to?
1.
Just what day was that? Was that Monday or Tuesday?
Monday.
And that was the game that they lost. That's the game that Perez blew, right? What was the general feeling inside the stadium when that happened?
Oh my goodness, man. That was the quietest I've ever heard that stadium. I mean, the minute the ball left Avila's bat,
minus the Detroit fans, right?
I see there weren't that many Detroit fans that day. I don't know why, but it wasn't that bad. I mean, I sat in the bleachers and there were maybe a handful that I saw. Maybe
Did
I'm
you
just
punch
blind.
any of them?
No. Maybe I'm just blind and deaf, but I didn't see that many. But that you could have heard a pin drop in that stadium. But the thing is, if I didn't have work, I would have been there the rest of the series.
Right. So what do you think about all the kerfuffle made about Perez not speaking to the media? As someone who works, for IBI and covers other parts of the franchise, what do you think about Perez not saying anything and leaving his teammates to answer questions? Do you think it's a big deal, or are people making too much of it?
Thank you for this question because I've wanted to get into this. I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, and I tweeted this before.
You should.
But I was actually one of the last people to talk to Chris Perez before he came back to the Indians. He was the nicest guy. He answered any question that didn't deal with marijuana. He was, very funny and, likable, and it doesn't the reason that he's not talking to the media, I don't think it's because he dislikes the media, and I don't think anybody should care that he's not talking to the media. I think it's just about the legal implications of everything, and he doesn't want to talk about anything. So why not just leave him alone, let him go pitch the way he's pitched. Outside of one game, he's been terrific. He's been terrific, and I was listening to 92.3 The Fan, and Adam the Bull says this every day. He says, I don't like the fact that he doesn't pitch, but if he's pitching well, or I don't like the fact that he's not speaking to the media, but if he's pitching well, I don't care. He could also use that me time to say, oh yeah, look at me, I'm the best, I'm doing so well, but he doesn't say it even when he's succeeding. So I have no problem with it, and I don't think anybody else should either.
So you don't have a problem. I mean, even if he's not going to talk about his legal issues, don't you think he should at least have said something on Monday about whatever happened? Or do you think that he needs to he only owes his teammates an explanation? Aaron?
I mean, I think that, I guess the only problem I would have with it is, if his teammates want him to be the guy to face up to the media, then, it's a problem. He needs to keep peace in that locker room more than, what you or I think or any fan or any media member thinks, because ultimately that doesn't mean a thing. If his teammates are okay with it, which, we don't really have any indication either way, then I really don't care at all. But, if his teammates are, a little frustrated with him not saying stuff or talking after games, I mean, you need to man up and do what's best for your team.
What do you think about Francona kind of backing him and not making him do anything, and then when he was asked about it, he kind of just gave he can kind of do whatever he wants kind of thing? Do you think that Francona needs to say, hey, you need to say something at some point, or you're still okay with nothing?
No, I mean, look, Tito's that guy, man. I mean, he's a player's manager through and through. I mean, the fried chicken and beer. I mean, it might have been what cost him his job in Boston, but it worked for a long time. It's just the guy he is. I think it would almost be ingenuine of him to all of a sudden, be a hard ass on an issue.
Right.
It's not the guy he is. He's never been that guy, and it would come off as, kind of fake to me anyway. He's just, being the guy he is, and he's managed a few more games than I have, and I always try to give managers the benefit of the doubt. I mean, they know. Coaches, whatever, managers in baseball, they all know more with the, personal things that go on and with their team. The team dynamic, all things like that we don't get from just watching a few games on TV at night.
Any problem with them getting rid of Mark Reynolds?
No.
What
Mark
about?
Reynolds, are you going to keep him on the pipe dream that, he turns into the player he was in April and May? Because, I mean, if that happened, it'd be great. But, I mean, he's just comes to the plate, he strikes out, man. I mean, that was getting a little too predictable for me.
And same thing about Pastano. Same feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I like Vinny. I think that when he's right, I think he's a hell of a pitcher, and he's a great setup guy. But, he wasn't performing, man. It's the big leagues. You got to perform. It don't matter who you are, and I think it sends a little bit of a message to guys that it don't matter who you are, man. You have to step up and play.
Peyton, you have anything on either player?
Yeah, and I'm sorry about this. This is really annoying. I'm sure it's annoying for the people watching too. But Reynolds, I think he had attitude problems, and I think that was part of it. I think that the team thought that he was bringing down the clubhouse, and that was part of the issue. And Pastano, it's baseball. It happens. You got to get yourself right. I think they made absolutely the right move with getting rid of him, or not getting rid of. Sorry,
Optioning him
out. Right.
What makes you say that about Mark Reynolds? I'm just curious. I hadn't heard that.
I've heard multiple reports that he was very unhappy with his play time, and he was very unhappy with the fact that Francona wouldn't play him to get him out of the slump, even though
he did play him for a long time trying to get him out of that slump.
Exactly. So I just think that he was in over his head, and
so you think it was a little bit more to do than with just his performance that he ended up getting confident.
Yes,
designated for assignment, whatever.
Yeah, because you know why? Because for weeks, Terry Francona was saying, "Oh, just wait till this guy. He's got another streak in him. Just wait. We're going to keep him around." And then all of a sudden he gets canned. I think it was much more than anybody knew.
Open my eyes, man. I didn't even think about that.
So to go back to Perez and to tie it in with Pastano, do you think that the Indians keep Perez after this year, or do they try and trade him and then make Pastano the closer? Or how does this end for those two?
Do you want me to go
Yeah,
first?
go ahead.
Okay. Perez needs to go because I think there's too much talent waiting to take his spot, and I think that he's not going to be as valuable next season. I don't know if it's Pastano though. I really don't, because he's obviously hasn't been good, and I don't know if he's going to be ready next year. Who knows? He may never be the same pitcher again. So I don't know if I'd start him as the closer. I'd think about Cody Allen, but I don't think Perez is the guy. I think he's worn out his welcome with the whole media thing. I think the fans are getting sick of it. Even though he's pitching so well, I just think that it's time to trade him, get some good value for him, and call it a day.
Aaron?
I think they'll do what's best, whatever that is. I mean, if they can get – I mean that like if they, trade offers, whatever, if they get, legitimate value, hell yeah, they'll get rid of him. But, if they're not going to get anything back for him, and I don't know the whole – it might have even been you, Damien, that was talking about his contract situation on Twitter.
No, I don't know anything about contracts.
Okay.
No.
Some other bald black guy.
Yeah, there's so many of them. Probably Hiram.
It was not Hiram. Hiram. I take that back. I like Hiram.
That's all right. No one heard what you said.
But I mean,
anyway.
there was something. That's true. There was something about his contract situation and arbitration and all. I mean, the Indians are going to do whatever suits them the best. I mean, if they're not going to get anything for him, I think they keep him around. But I think they'll certainly explore trade options in the offseason, as they should. But quite honestly, they should be listening on any player and doing their due diligence in every different scenario with every different guy, honestly.
Is there anyone on the team, for you, Aaron, first, and then I'll ask you, Hayden, the same question, who is untouchable at this point?
Michael Bourne.
That's it?
I just think probably. I mean, I like Brantley a lot. I don't think you're going to get equal value for Masterson, guys like that, in a trade or anything. But I just think Michael Bourne's been, he's played really well, man. I mean, he seems to get hits when it was needed. I think he's a great clubhouse guy. Hayden, you probably know more about that than me, but I just think, he's a great catalyst to that offense, and, I like Michael Bourne a lot, man.
Hayden?
Well, the thing that I'm thinking about is there's a difference between untouchable in terms of the trade market and guys that won't be asked. I don't think that anybody's untouchable ever. Like, if there's the right deal, if somebody's...
And Hayden's gone again.
He lasted the whole time I was talking, though.
Yeah, I know. Maybe you should talk less and I should have him talk more.
Then it would just screw up. It's just a curse when he talks, man.
Right.
And he always has such a good, statement going.
Right, and then he just falls off the train.
That's all right. Nobody's listening, right?
Oh, we have 7 viewers, so people are watching us.
7 of them?
7 people. Hayden, go ahead. You're up.
Am I up? Can you hear me?
Listen.
Go.
Am I back?
Yes.
Okay. What I was saying about, forget all that with the, everybody's touchable, whatever. The guys that I don't think will ever get traded are Swisher, Bourne, Brantley, Kipnis, and Santana. Everybody else is done. Or can be traded. I shouldn't say done, but can be traded.
Okay. And then...
Yeah, Kipnis. I forgot about Kipnis. My bad. Like Kipnis.
And do you think that the Jason Giambi experience has worked out this year?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because he's just an extension of a hitting coach. I don't think anybody brought him in to say, oh, he's going to hit 250 and hit 20 home runs. The guy has been unbelievable. I don't agree with playing him every day. I don't like this whole Terry Francona playing him a lot thing. I know Reynolds is gone, but you got to find somebody else who can DH. I don't agree with it, but as a pinch hitter, he's been incredible. I love the Giambi signing.
And do you think he'll be back next year
Yes, as a hitting coach.
as a hitting coach?
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. I think that Van Berkeley could still be on, but I think that I think that Giambi has proven to be such a valuable player that he's going to be a hitting coach. He's going to be on that team in some sort of capacity as a coach, but I'm going to say he's going to be the hitting coach next season.
Do you think that he
Because
go ahead.
Just because Van Berkeley has underperformed in my opinion, because the whole offense is underperformed. So he's got to take some sort of flack for that. So I'm going to say that Giambi's the hitting coach next year.
Do you think that, and then Aaron, I'm going to ask you the other question and then this question also, but Hayden, do you think that Giambi was the best, or at least to this point has been the best signing of the offseason, or the most valuable, I guess?
Ooh. Wow. That's the toughest question I've been asked all day.
Wow, I feel good.
Even tougher than like what you wanted for lunch?
Yeah.
Did anybody ask you that?
Yes, they did. I had a nice salad for lunch, but but I'm gonna say.
Did you put a steak in your salad?
No, chicken. I'm gonna say that Bourne is, just because of his defense and his. The Indians didn't have a leadoff hitter before he got there, so if it wasn't for him, Drew Stubbs would be hitting leadoff, and he'd be hitting 243 at the leadoff position. So I'm gonna say that it's definitely Michael Bourne, but Giambi's close, man. He's real close.
Aaron, what do you think about Giambi?
I think he's done what is about as much as you can ask a 42-year-old,
ugly white guy. Big
old former steroid user to do, man. I like Giambi a lot. I think he's great for the clubhouse more than anything. Like I said, I think that stuff is invaluable. It's hard to translate what he's actually meant to that team. In terms of production, he hasn't met a ton, although, he had the walk-off win, he's hit some home runs for him, and he's actually, I forget what the stat was, but, his average is pretty good in, clutch-type situations with runners on or, some crazy metric I don't understand. But, I'm more than satisfied with what he's been, and I think he's the reason a collapse won't happen, or at least part of it. Him and Francona, guys who, they've been there. It's baseball. As much as fans panic and freak out over that stuff, I think, you have a calming presence like that in the locker room, like, hey guys, I've been there. It happens. I think that stuff I think it really matters.
Right. That's good. All right, so we're going to wrap up the Indians, and then we're going to talk a little Browns here. And then we're going to get out of here. We're going to do this for about another 20 minutes, and then I'm going to go to bed because I'll be up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So
I'll be up at 4:45.
Right, and Hayden will probably get up about 1, so that's fine.
I'll be up till like 2:30 though, so
2:30 tonight.
I'll be up till about 1 probably.
Yeah. I still have a post I have to write for tomorrow, so I have to get that done.
Yeah, I'm writing my. I was just about to say, I didn't know if you guys wanted me to go on my rampage about Swisher, but
go ahead.
That'll be happening. No, that'll be happening tomorrow. You'll read it. You'll read it.
Oh, so you're giving us a preview of what you're writing.
Brohio.
Yeah, because I think he's meant a lot more to this team. I think he's meant a lot more to this team than people think.
Okay. That'll be very interesting to read.
Yeah, because I think there's a lot of people, me included, who are sick of how happy he is with the appearance of how little he's actually put out. But I guess that's
right.
Yeah, he's making $12 million. He's got a hot wife. He's got a lot to be happy about, man.
Oh, I have no doubt about that.
All right, so let's go Browns, Damian.
Yeah, go ahead, Aiden.
Oh, you want me to take over again?
Yeah,
Am I going to be okay?
If you're going to stay on. If not,
cool. All right, I'll do as best I can.
I'm going to eat for a few seconds while you and Hayden or you and Aaron talk about the Browns.
Perfect. So, as you know, the Browns did gain their first preseason victory, which means so much in the scheme of things. It means everything for this coming season.
Absolutely.
Obviously, I kid. But they did look pretty good for the first couple quarters, and it got Browns fans pretty excited, especially in the middle of a 10-1 drubbing by the Tigers. And then the most recent and kind of puzzling news was what was actually said on the broadcast of that game by Bernie Kosar. He's been under some fire for some of his comments he made, which I thought were absolutely hilarious. But he's come under fire, and he got a stern talking to by Joe Banner. So, Aaron,
I'm sure it was very stern.
Yes. I just want to get your thoughts on this whole, before we get into the actual Browns and the whole, the whole preseason games and whatever. I just want to get your thoughts on Bernie Kosar. What did you think of this whole situation? Did you hear what he said? Did you hear, have you heard all of this attention he's gotten? What are your thoughts on the whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it. I think it's really a non-story. I mean, a couple of things he said were, the bless me, Father, for I have sinned, whatever, the personal type attacks. I mean, probably going a little bit over the line, but I doubt he's the first guy to do it. I don't think it's warranted the attention it's received. I'm not the Bernie apologist that a lot of people are. I think he has a great insight, but I think he's probably doesn't word things the best sometimes. I think he understands it, just doesn't explain it great. But I just think the whole story has been, overblown. But that's just my opinion on
it. Do you think that maybe he could have said, and I didn't say it because I don't watch the Browns or whatever, but don't you think he could have said whatever in a different way without saying?
Yeah, absolutely he could have.
And I think that's maybe isn't what they say, like it's not what you say, it's how you say it or whatever. Like I don't even know what he said, but I mean I read it, and so obviously I don't have all the context because I just read it in the online or whatever.
It was pretty harsh, but I think we're all a little too sensitive. I mean, I know you agree with me on that, Damien. I mean,
absolutely.
We're all a little too sensitive. I mean, who cares? But Jeff Fisher stuck up for his players.
Right, which he should.
Means, right, and then look, if Peter King never says anything about it, which he's the reason it all started, it doesn't get blown up. But I'm sure there's been hundreds of times where a national guy just didn't catch on to it, and it's just a story that never gained any friction. I mean, you see it all the time in just normal news stories where, we see a murder case blow up seemingly out of nowhere, and it gets, tons and tons of media coverage when this is happening, everywhere. And it makes me kind of wonder with that, and it makes me kind of wonder why, it's even such a story and such an issue to people to begin with.
Hayden, what do you think about this whole thing?
I loved it. I thought everything. My whole thing is that I think everything in the world of sports is too watered down, too sugar-coated. I thought Bernie was not only insightful on every single call that he made during the game, but I think that honesty was so refreshing. It wasn't, kissing everybody's butt. Every time I hear a game on any channel, it's this guy's so great, this guy's so great. But what about the guys that aren't so great? What about he was absolutely right about Kellen Clemens. That guy is awful.
Okay, and I don't disagree with you. I mean, obviously he's not a great quarterback, and I don't think that anybody has a problem with what Bernie was trying to say or what point he was trying to make. I think the issue comes down to, again, how he said it. Like, I mean, didn't he say something like I don't? What did he say, Aaron? Like, I can't stand watching this guy, or it makes me sick, or stuff like that. Like, you can absolutely tear a guy or rip a guy down, but you don't have to say like it makes me sick to watch this guy.
Yeah, I think he said something about his parents not being proud of him, or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay. Well, I mean, I understand the little stuff, but I think overall it's a much bigger issue than it needs to be because. Okay, if he's launching a personal attack on Kellen Clemens, the person, and is ripping him to shreds in the way that he was, with the specific words that he used, then maybe I understand it. But to attack a player, that's the thing. I don't think any of the intent was on Kellen Clemens, the player, or the person. I think it was all about Kellen Clemens, the player. And in my opinion, I think anybody should be able to say essentially anything about a player. Not so much a person, but a player. It's because there's a difference. There's a difference between, a good person and a good player. You can certainly be both, but sometimes you're one, sometimes you're the other. If you're a bad player, I don't think that there's a reason why you should be held back from saying this guy's awful.
Oh, I absolutely agree. Like I said, I don't have a problem with him saying that whoever this kid is not a good player. I don't think anybody's saying that Bernie shouldn't say that. Like I said before, I just think maybe you have to you have to talk about the player and how bad he is, and not say that his parents should be ashamed of him. Like
you have to be a professional about it.
Right. I mean, you can absolutely say somebody's not good at their job without saying that they're the worst person on earth.
Right. And that's exactly my point. My point is, don't get into his personal life, but if you're going to say that he's the worst player in, that if he's the worst player you've ever seen, you can say that.
Absolutely.
But don't attack his I agree, but I didn't hear that from what I heard from the game. I didn't hear that at all.
Aaron.
It's a non-story.
Non-story.
I mean, I just don't think it's worth spending that much time on.
All right.
I mean, we can talk about it. It's fine. I just think that, the crazy amount of attention it's got is insane. He said some dumb things, but I think if we went back, and I don't know how long he's been doing preseason games now, and quite honestly, when I am available to watch, I'll watch the first quarter or I'll watch the first string, and maybe if I'm really, really bored, I'll watch the backups play for a little bit, but I'm not going to be tuned in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes left in a game anyway. So I think if we went back and listened to Bernie Kosar talk, in all his preseason games, I bet we could find something rather similar in there at some point. And I don't know anybody who has the time to do such things, but if anyone does, that'd be interesting.
So let me just ask this, just to kind of wrap this up, so we can actually get to what the Browns did on the field. Do you, and it was reported, I guess there was a statement released by the Browns, I haven't read it yet, that Banner spoke with Bernie and that Bernie called Jeff Fisher and apologized to Clemens or whatever. Do you think this is the last year for Bernie, or do you think that he'll be back?
I mean, I think, honestly, I think it's kind of crazy, but I think there's a lot of people that continue to stay because of Bernie Kosar.
I have no idea what you're saying.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Whatever you just said, say it again, because you were breaking up there.
I said, I think as crazy as it sounds, I think there's some people that actually stay on the team
It happened again.
just to listen to Bernie Kosar.
Aaron, you broke up again. Hayden, why don't you go ahead and answer?
Okay, yeah. I think that Bernie should be back in a football role because I think that's where he's most valuable. Because as much as fun as it is for me to sit here and listen to him, explain the coverage and explain, the four-man front or the blocking scheme or the play call, as enjoyable as that is for me, it's more valuable to the team. And I think that he should be brought on as a part of the team, a little different than Jim Brown, because I don't think Jim Brown has involvement with the actual, X's and O's. But I think Bernie should be brought on as some sort of special advisor in terms of X's and O's or whatnot, because I think he's absolutely brilliant. As unpolished and kind of goofy as he is, I think he's an absolutely brilliant football mind, and he should be brought into that organization for some reason or in some way, shape, or form. Yeah.
Aaron, you want to try this again?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. I was trying to state. I think that there's a lot of people that listen to those games just to listen to Bernie talk.
I don't think he's meant to get his point out here.
Did it cut out again?
Yes.
Man, let's just move on. It don't matter anymore.
I think Hayden's gone too.
My internet's good, man. I don't know why it's not. It's probably Hayden's computer's fault that I'm not coming in right.
Hayden, did you see the game on Thursday?
I did.
Give me some thoughts. I didn't watch any of it, so I actually have no opinion.
Okay, my opinion was I couldn't. I'm trying to remember it back exactly. Well, first of all, I guess we can go with Brandon Weeden. Weeden was excellent. Again,
as expected.
Yeah, he looked completely comfortable. Yeah, I completely expected it too. He looks completely comfortable. He looks very, alert and, a very different guy than he was last year. The running game wasn't all that impressive to me. Trent's out, and although that new kid, Dion Lewis, the new running back from Philadelphia, was fantastic. I thought, I remember him from his time with the Pittsburgh Panthers and then, the Big East, and that kid is a little motorboat, and he can, run all over the field. I'm excited to see what he can do. The receivers looked okay. I thought, I thought Greg Little did a nice job catching that one pass that was above everybody, not quitting on the play. I think you're going to see a new Greg Little this year. I think it's just going to be an extension of last year where he really improved his game and kind of flew under the radar. Other than that, I mean, it's 1 quarter of a preseason game. You can't really gain too much from it, but I thought everything looked pretty good. Everything looked up to par. I mean, they looked a lot better than St. Louis did, and that's always a good thing when you look more prepared. St. Louis looked completely baffled, and maybe that's a reflection of Bradford. Maybe that's a reflection of Jeff Fisher, but whatever the case, I think that Cleveland was prepared, and if they're prepared like that each and every week, they're going to have a great season.
Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, I think can you hear me now? Is it not cutting out?
You're good.
I think the best thing to come from that game is kind of what Hayden touched on at the end. That they were prepared for the game, man. Brandon Weeden looked crisp. I mean, things went well. They were getting play calls in on time. I think a lot of the little things that hindered them last year are going to possibly work to their advantage this year. It's one preseason game. It doesn't mean a thing. And if he comes out and the team sucks, week 1 against Miami, who cares what happened in preseason week 1? But I think it's a good sign that they were well prepared. And, I don't think they had 1 penalty, with the starting unit. I mean, those are things that need to be improved, and I think they have been.
Just to cut in real quick, the thing that scares me is that a couple of years ago, Colt McCoy looked like a Super Bowl MVP against the Packers in the first quarter of the first preseason game, and that was a complete aberration to what actually happened. So I'm not putting any stock in any of this. I just hope that every week they come out as crisp and as nice as they did this week.
Would you guys foresee this Thursday against the Lions? More of the same, hopefully?
Yeah, it's a battle for the barge, man. It's a GLC. It's the biggest game of the year.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Have you heard the song?
There's a song.
Yeah,
the
Browns and the Lions fight for Great Lakes pride.
Jesus Christ! He's singing.
I've tweeted it plenty of times on Twitter.
People
Obviously,
follow you on Twitter?
A lot of people. A lot of very smart, successful, talented doctors and lawyers follow me on Twitter.
Okay. Back to the
I wish that was the case.
Very learned folk. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what they do. Look, if they come out and suck, it doesn't matter. I like it.
Hayden,
I think we're going to have a good season.
Hayden, are the Lions better than the Rams?
Yes, but that's the thing. The Lions are wet. Yes. Hold on. This is what I wanted to get into with Aaron, because I knew this was going to come up. I don't think the Lions are all that good. I don't see where they're a great football team. They have I love Matt Stafford personally, but other than him, I don't see much. I really don't. Aaron, I know you have thoughts on this, so please elaborate on your dislike for the Lions.
Listen. Okay, I'll make a little confession since only a few people are listening apparently. Of course, this will be put out on a podcast and thousands will listen. But I just think Matt Stafford's the most overrated quarterback in football. Calvin Johnson had an unbelievable year last year, and even with that, they were a 4-12 football team. I don't think Reggie Bush is that reliable. I think he's going to get hurt, and I think their defensive issues are still there. And Sue's going to stomp on somebody's head and get suspended anyway.
Aaron, but back to Damien's point about who's better. Come on, it's not even close. I think Detroit has 10 times the playmakers that the Rams have. Sue, Stafford, Johnson, Reggie Bush, I think they're all better playmakers than the Rams can boast. And so hopefully they come out and hopefully the Browns come out and
He cut out again, man.
Yeah, so did I. You have to think that the Browns are going to have a little bit more competition on Thursday, right, Aaron?
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, I guess we can come to the crazy conclusion that the Lions are a better team than the Rams, but I think it'll be a little more competitive just because I think the second and third preseason games are where coaches, especially the third, but even the second, they try to get a little more look. And I don't think any coach has really game planned for that second. I know they do for the third one, just to get a little live feel of the game. But but then again, the Lions and Browns play in the regular season, so even though it is a battle for the barge in the Great Lakes Classic, I don't know if that'll have any effect on the team or the way they approach the game.
I mean, love how
you got to think they're not going to show anything.
I love how they name a preseason game. Like, come on.
Only in Cleveland and Detroit, I guess.
Gosh.
I want more than a sport approach.
I have no idea what he's saying.
Yeah, he's cutting up. Now it's you.
Your internet did it, man.
I
Can
know,
you hear
it's
me?
Yeah.
Yeah. But are we? My question is, are we going to see Trent Richardson next week? I don't know if that's been talked about yet. Are we going to see him play? We are going to see him play.
Here's a question.
So.
Here's a question though. You guys can answer this better than I can. But do we need to see him play before the regular season, or
no.
should they just sit him and let him heal and bring him back in 3 weeks and say here he is ready to go?
Well, I don't think they should sit him only because he needs to be in football shape. He needs to be in condition.
Obviously, I don't want him to show up and be a fat ass. I'm not suggesting that he sits around and has donuts.
Sure, sit him.
But does he need to play? Like, does he need to play in a preseason game? I mean, can he play in the fourth preseason game for a quarter or so, or a couple series and be good, or does he need to play the next 3 weeks also, Aaron?
I don't think it matters at all. But that's just me. I think he's almost the less he plays in the preseason, the better for me.
Right. That's what I think too.
I think that with most guys. I mean, I just, especially that position. I mean, quarterback, you want him to get, crisp on some things, but, you're running back, a guy who's, I hate to say it, but has been injury prone, give him some rest, man. Let him be ready in the regular season.
Hayden.
Injury prone. Trent Richardson injury prone? That's part of the problem too. Everybody's freaking out about Trent Richardson being injury prone. He played the entire year last year with 3 ribs.
He did play hurt. I mean, yes, but that still affected him greatly. I
don't think it did at all. I really don't.
Then he's not that good of a running back.
I agree. I don't think he's that good. I'll never think he's that good because I think at Alabama he had a brilliant offensive line and he had a brilliant coach. Look at Mark Ingram. I don't think he was the same back that Mark Ingram was. And look at Mark Ingram. He's not doing anything either. I think Richardson's overrated, but I certainly hope I'm wrong because if he's good, then this team's going to the sky's the limit. I mean, who knows? Maybe Norv Turner could kind of help to alleviate his role a little bit so he's more effective when he's in the game because I don't think he's a workhorse back. So maybe that would help too.
I mean, and he doesn't have to be great for this team to excel, Hayden, right? I mean, he can just be decent, right? Yeah. And then he can be good inside the 20 or whatever in the red zone. And I think that if they have good receivers and everything, I think that that's going to be more of a weapon than anything else. Agree or disagree?
Agree. I think their defense is the biggest key because I think offensively they're going to be fine. I think that their receivers are good. Their quarterback is good. And the running game, but I think the defense is the biggest key to this season because we don't know what they have in the secondary. We know they have Joe Hayden and T.J. Ward, and that's about it. If they get torched by A.J. Green every game A.J. Green and whoever else we play, I mean, it could get ugly back there. We could be seeing 40-point games if teams can throw the ball on us. So that's my biggest. If you have to pick a key for this team to succeed, the defensive backfield has to step up. Has to.
40-point games, huh?
Against us, yeah, absolutely. I could see Andy Dalton torching us for 360 yards if our
the second most overrated quarterback in the league.
The first most overrated.
Well, right behind Matthew Stafford.
Sure. The first.
Really close. 1B. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Andy Dalton is by far the most overrated quarterback in the league.
You should write a column on that.
Oh my gosh, I think I have.
Your face is getting red. Are you mad?
I know, because everybody's like, oh my gosh, Andy Dalton, and I'm like, no, AJ Green,
you
Brandon
just don't
Pettigrew,
like his red hair, man.
Jermaine Gresham, whatever. Go on.
Let me ask you guys this question to kind of wrap up the Brown stuff, and then I want to touch.
I'm angry.
I know, that's why I'm changing the subject, because I don't like angry Hayden. I want to touch on college football for 5 minutes.
Mhm.
I want to ask you guys this question. Who?
You know our answers.
Excuse me?
I said you know our answers.
Oh, my goodness. Here we go. Who is the most overrated team in the NFL, and who is going to be the surprise team of the year? Hayden.
In college football?
In
No,
NFL?
NFL.
Oh.
The
You
most
go first,
overrated team.
Most
Aaron.
overrated
Do you want to
team?
go first?
Yeah, I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I have to say it's the Seattle Seahawks, man.
Overrated, huh?
Yes, I think the Russell Wilson's going to come back down to earth a little bit. I don't think he's going to be as good as he was last year. I mean, they're a decent team. They'll win 8 or 9 games, but what were they, 12-4 last year?
Give or take.
I don't think Marshawn Lynch is going to have nearly as good of a season. I just think they're a prime candidate for that.
Hayden?
Did you see the most overrated and underrated?
I need overrated and who's going to be the surprise team of the year.
Aaron, pick your surprise team.
Browns, man.
All right, now pick it. Now pick a real team.
Pick a real surprise team.
I don't know, man. I don't really have a. I don't know. I have no idea.
All right,
The
Hayden.
Browns.
My most overrated team is the entire AFC North. I think that the Steelers are vastly overrated, the Ravens are vastly overrated, and the Bengals are vastly overrated.
Really,
So-
I thought everybody was down on the Steelers this year and the Ravens.
Some people are. I think that, it depends where you
I
look.
think- Yeah, I think people are thinking like 8-8. I'm thinking like 5-11
For who?
ish. The Steelers.
So the Browns should finish ahead of the Steelers then,
Yeah.
right?
I agree. I think so.
So where do you? I mean, I'm going to assume that there's going to be some kind of Browns prediction blowout show, but who's going to be ahead of the Browns, Hayden? In the division, who's gonna have more wins than the Browns in this division? Because you obviously think the Steelers are going to be worse than the Browns, or at least their record.
It'll be Bengals, or no, it'll be Ravens, Bengals, Browns, Steelers. Bengals will go 8-8. Ravens will go 10-6. Browns will go 7-9.
Weren't the Ravens
Steelers will
10-6
go
last
5-11.
year?
Yeah,
So I mean, why are they overrated?
because people are thinking Super Bowl. I mean, from what I've heard, people are thinking Super Bowl for the Bengals and the Ravens. So, and I don't think any one of them is anywhere near. I think
Well,
they're both going to get punched out in the first round if they even get there.
Well, you should tell whoever thinks that the Ravens and the Bengals are going to the Super Bowl that can't happen. Just throwing that out there.
Well,
He's tired, man. It's late.
no, I just mean, they're both. I've heard a lot of good things about both, and have heard both talked about in Super Bowl talk. So, but my surprise team. Oh, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go. And first of all, I just want to disagree with Aaron for a second. I think Seattle's going to win the Super Bowl, but
Whoa.
I think my
Whoa.
surprise team might be the Minnesota Vikings.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
I think with Greg Jennings finally a decent receiver over there, I think that Christian Ponder is going to be a much better quarterback, and I think that Adrian Peterson is going to carry that team to the playoffs.
You think that they're going to be better than the Packers?
Well, I didn't. You said surprise. I mean, I don't mean like Super Bowl surprise. I mean
No.
playoff surprise. I think they'll make the playoffs because they can still make the playoffs if they're second place. I think the Packers will be, by far the. I think they'll go maybe 10-6, 9-7.
Really? All
Yeah.
right.
I think Ponder's horrible.
He's a game manager, but that's all he really needs to be. But
He's not even that.
with a good receiver, I think he can be a good quarterback. He hasn't had anybody there.
Sure, he can have the Andy Dalton toss the ball up and hope somebody catches it approach.
Right, and that's gotten them to the playoffs, has it not?
Sure, but Greg Jennings isn't A.J. Green either.
That's true.
All right, so we're going to finish. We're done with NFL. I want to talk about college football real quick. I know that Aaron thinks Ohio State's going to win the national championship this year.
I've
And I
never
know-
actually said that.
I know. I was I was being full of it there.
I want that to happen. Yes.
Yes, and I know Hayden thinks that Ohio State's going to win the national championship this year.
Yes.
You're 100% on that.
I'm unapologetic. I think so. I think it's the way.
All right. So who are they going to play?
Bama.
The Alabama Crimson Tide, man.
You don't think? Go ahead.
There's no doubt. There is a doubt. There's a doubt on the offensive line, but other than that, they're just that solid. I could see us playing a lot of teams. I could see us playing Florida. I could see us playing Oregon. I could see us playing, if somehow Johnny Football, gets things right, I could see us playing Texas A&M. It would be. There's a lot of teams that we could play, but I think that absolutely we should. No, I can't see Louisville.
No, Louisville's not going to get there. You're crazy.
Tell us why, Damien.
Tell you why what? I don't think Louisville's going to get there.
Tell us why you don't think Louisville's going to get there.
Well, because one, they're in a conference that's terrible, right? So they're not going to get any strength of schedule from that, and their schedule's weak, right? And they'll lose to somebody they shouldn't lose to.
Ohio State's schedule is horrible.
Well, obviously, we all know that.
Teddy Bridgewater's a stud, man. Kid's good.
No, Louisville's not going to the national championship game.
We'll see.
And just to throw this out there, I feel bad for whoever gets Teddy Bridgewater in the NFL draft. So I think you're looking at a complete bust.
I don't care about that, man. I think he's a great
I know, but I'm just saying that everybody's saying, oh, he's going to be the number one pick.
I think Braxton Miller will be horrible in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. He can't throw.
But I don't care. I just want him to be good in college.
Exactly. That's all
yeah, obviously it doesn't matter what you do on the professional level. We only care about what they do when they're in college. Who do you, Aaron or Hayden? Who do you think Ohio State has the biggest chance to lose to this year? If they're going to lose to any one team, who's it going to be?
Themselves. They'll beat. No, I'm serious. They'll beat them if they're going to lose. If they're going to lose, they're going to lose because they beat themselves. They're not going to lose because Northwestern beat them. They're not going to lose because Michigan beat them. They'll lose because they had 15 penalties, and they'll lose because they dropped a lot of passes. I'm not trying to be, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to be, but I'm just saying that if they're gonna lose, they're gonna beat themselves. I think they're the most talented team in the Big Ten, and I think they could probably be one of the top 3 most talented teams in the SEC. I really believe that.
Now all right, go ahead, Aaron, because I want to go back.
Aaron. I just think that they could potentially, and they're not going to, obviously, but there's a chance they could lose to basically every team they play except a few of the non-conference teams. They did it last year. They should have lost to Purdue. They could have lost to Cal last year. They could have lost to Central Florida last year. They were underwhelming. They got better as the season went on, and they obviously finished 12-0. But I think it's far-fetched to say that nobody can beat them coming into this year. I think most teams on their schedule, granted Ohio State would have to play down because they probably are the most talented team on their schedule. But, there's some things that I'm not going to be shocked if they lose a game or two.
I'm not going to be shocked either, but my point is that, all right, if you want me to answer the question seriously, which team is going to beat them? I was answering it seriously, but even more seriously, I think if Michigan comes in undefeated, I think that's going to be an awful.
Yeah, but do you think that's going to happen?
No, I don't, and that's what I'm saying. If Michigan comes in undefeated and plays Ohio State, who's also undefeated, that would scare me because they're in the big house. And they're undefeated and they're in the big house and they have all of this momentum to play the hated Urban Meyer and the Suckeyes or whatever they call them over there. That would be a nightmare. I know, but I didn't want to say it on here.
Say whatever you want. I'm not beeping anything out.
But Northwestern is a good team too, and that's an 8:00 game. Their 10,000 fans could get excited for that. We'll see.
Wow, 10,000 fans. Hey, so
I like Northwestern a lot too. I'm not trying to bash them. I'm just saying they don't have many fans. It's not a big football school. It's an academic school, which is more important than any athletic endeavors they have.
Beat me today, work for me tomorrow, right?
Exactly. You've told me that before. Exactly.
I want to touch on Oregon here. because you think Oregon could get to the national championship, and I think you're crazy. Because any team that's in the Pac-12 always commits what I call like Pac-12 suicide. They lose to some team that they're not supposed to. So please explain to me how you think Oregon's going to get to the national championship.
Well, I don't think that I don't think that they are, but I think they could. I mean, it's not. My point is that their coach. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, without Chip Kelly, they're not going to be able to, be good again." But their coach is the offensive coordinator from last year, so if anybody knows that offense, it's him.
Well, he designed it.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't, or you mean Chip Kelly designed it?
No, the guy who's the head coach.
Right, exactly, and that's a point a lot of people are missing. I think Mariota's pretty good. I think he's a good player, and I think he could compete for the Heisman Trophy. I think that who's their other guy? I can't even think of his name right now.
Anthony Thomas.
Yeah, D'Anthony Thomas. I mean, these guys are fast, and they could easily run the table in the Pac-12. I know the way you're saying because I agree that a lot of teams commit Pac-12 suicide, and I completely understand that.
Every year.
I completely, Oregon loses to Oregon State. Like, come on, but it could happen. But at the same time, it couldn't happen. They could also make the championship game. So I don't know. It would be a long shot in my opinion with so many other teams that could make it. But I mean, they could. They're talented.
Aaron, do you have anything on this?
On Oregon?
Yeah.
No.
Nothing?
Yeah. No, I mean, they got some playmakers. I don't think though. I think it'll be an SEC team again. I think Ohio State has a good shot at it, but you know what? SEC's won 6 in a row now. I mean, to think all of a sudden they're just not going to have a team in it, especially with Alabama's schedule. I think it's Alabama and Ohio State and everybody else are playing for that second spot.
Right. All right. Well, I think that's about it. Aaron, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
You can follow me on Twitter, AaronM59. I actually have a More Than a Fan email account now, which is really fancy, and it's Aaron@morethanafan.net. That's pretty much it. Follow me on Twitter.
And then on Fridays?
Fridays, I will be writing a weekly Ohio State column. This Friday will be a little more positive than last week's, where I talked about some of the kind of negative aspects, I guess. Because in a sense, I think that, and I'll get to that more, but I just think we might be expecting too much of Ohio State. But this week I kind of explore why, there is a pretty damn good chance they go 12-0.
Right.
And that's every Friday at noon, I believe, on the site.
Every Friday at 12 o'clock. You in Ohio State. Or you in Big Ten, right? Are you doing Big Ten or Ohio State?
I'll talk a little Big Ten. Ohio State mainly. We'll talk some some of the more relevant teams in the Big Ten if you.
Who else is going to be good in the Big Ten this year?
Michigan.
That's
Northwestern. Nebraska has Nebraska will be all right. I don't know about Michigan State. Penn State's still on suspension. They'll be okay. Purdue's going to be a little bit better.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of hope for Purdue, to be honest with you, and it's not because, it is because of their coach. I mean, they have a new coach, and I just don't think they have anything in the closet right now. There's nothing on the shelf that they can pull off and beat some of these teams. I mean, I think they're kind of in Indiana territory, but I could be crazy.
No, I don't disagree. But I think Indiana's getting better, man. I mean, I don't think they're ever going to be a 10-11 win team, but I think they're going to be a little more competitive than they've been in the last, couple decades.
Sure. And, obviously it feels like they beat Ohio State every other year. So, I guess anything's possible for a team that's
Purdue, you mean?
Purdue, yes.
Yeah, I was just saying, I don't think Indiana.
No, I don't think Indiana's beat Ohio State in probably 8 years.
Yeah, Ohio State struggles with Purdue, man. I don't know why.
Every year. Right. What was that, the 1 year they lost to Purdue at Purdue or something? It was the first time in like 10 years or I can't remember. It was like 3 years ago. Yep. Oh, Hayden's back.
Yeah, I'm back. I have my internet again.
Where can we find you, Hayden?
Where can you find me?
Yes.
You can find me.
Your street address specifically.
You can find me at H_Grove on Twitter. You can find me at Hayden Grove on Facebook. You can find me at IndiansBaseballInsider.com. You can find me at BuckeyeEmpire.com. You can find me at the one and the only MoreThanAFan.net tomorrow afternoon about 3 o'clock. So yeah. I'm here. Talk to me if you want.
And tell the ladies that you need a date for Saturday.
I need a date, man. I'm going to the Mac Flag wedding.
Official hashtag Mac Flag wedding. That's right.
Yes, please hashtag that, Damien.
Can we do a live podcast from the wedding?
We probably could. And
that would
be.
How mad would Kelly be? Do you think?
Who cares?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's only her wedding day. No big deal.
Hayden, when's your
Mac Flag?
Hayden, when's your college football column?
Wednesdays. I have a new college football column thanks to Mr. Bowman. Wednesdays, called the Campus Corner. Talk about everybody who's not Ohio State.
High noon.
And then,
so you talk about all the irrelevant teams. That's good.
Yeah, exactly.
Who'd you write about last week?
I wrote about last week the LSU Tigers and Texas A&M and Michigan.
Oh, that was from our conversation.
Yeah, it? Damien and I had a nice conversation about college football, and we kind of decided that LSU is such a strange case, such a strange team. And he wrote a nice column about Brady Hoke, and I kind of
told me it was crazy.
Yeah, I kind of leapfrogged on that, but yeah, it was. I love college football, so please check that out.
Different teams every week, then.
Yeah, different teams every week, and not Ohio State.
Yeah, you're gonna be all over the place, right? East Coast, West Coast. Yes.
Yeah, everywhere. I'm gonna be everywhere. But you can find me on the campus of The Ohio State University coming up on Thursday, or after the wedding. Sorry, so Monday.
And then you are you going to every Ohio State game this year, even the away games?
I am going to California to visit my friend.
You're gonna miss the big party.
What big party is that?
I'm having a big party.
Oh, well, I'm gonna miss the big party. I'm gonna try to head out to I'm gonna try to head out to Northwestern. I'm gonna try to head out to Purdue. I don't know about all the away games though. That'll be tough, especially near the end of the year.
You going to the outhouse?
I'm gonna try.
It's a great place to watch a football game.
I've heard that.
No, I'd love to go there. I'm only kidding.
Yeah, I've heard that Michigan is a wonderful place to go watch a football game. So I hope that I can get there this year because it'll be the last time in my undergraduate career at Ohio State that they're playing away. So I would like to go see that.
All right, Aaron. Anything else?
No.
Hayden?
Got nothing.
Hashtag Mac Flag wedding.
That's right, Mac Flag. Hashtag Mac Flag.
MACFLAG.
Big wedding on Saturday. We'll all be there, and we will be tweeting pictures and other inappropriate things. So.
And if you want to come as my date, guy or girl, I don't care at this point.
Whoa.
Just let me know.
I think maybe we should work on that. I think, you know what? I'm going to see if Hiram's available.
Yes. That'd be awesome. We just talk sports the whole time.
I had a different date plan for Hiram, but that's all right.
Yeah, she actually just threw something at me, so I think that's
tell Dana I said hello.
Yes, tell Dana. Give Dana my best.
Yes, they all said hello. Yeah, she just gave me the finger. So, all right. Anyway, I better go. So you can find me at Damian Bowman, and then I write actually like every day now. It feels like, but I will be doing my college column on Tuesdays and Saturdays. So you're going to get me twice a week. And then Mondays and Fridays is motorsports. So you'll be sick of me by the end of the week.
We already are.
Yeah, no kidding. I let you guys talk today. I didn't even really talk that much. So
I like it when you talk, Damien. You should talk more.
Nah, I think I do enough talking.
I think I should talk more. That's just.
I think Aaron should talk more.
I concur. Anyway, we need other people on this podcast. So if you guys want to join us, get in touch with either myself, Josh, or Hayden, the overlords, as DZ calls us. And what's that, Hayden?
I'm like the underlord of the overlords. I wouldn't call myself an overlord.
How about mini lord?
Mini lord. I'm the biggest mini lord you've ever met, though.
Oh boy, Here we go, folks. All right.
What? I'm like 6'3". It's pretty big.
It's true. You are taller than Josh and I.
Yeah, that's all I meant. Is that as stature.
Sure. Anyway, this is Podcast 74. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we will see you soon.